Okay, so I just want to give you several examples in a live demo how essentially it works, and then later to explain about API and so on. So here is, for example, it is called Power BI demo because later you can export the data directly to Power BI. So just to explain to you, here is one BCF manager, one add-in application. We developed this together with BIM Collab. One product from Netherlands, and that's the idea about collaboration. So you can, let's say, resolve the clashes on their cloud and so on, send directly from Bexel Manager. This one, another API add-in application, export to Power BI. So now you just select the name and export this to Power BI. So again, you can customize the content of that Power BI. A third one is AP console scripting. So in a C# you can write your own code directly here, and I'm going to write this code, and he will now tell me that in the model I have 11,000 elements, 200 families, and the family with largest number of elements is, I don't know, this one. So you can by yourself write your own very simple code. This is a console application. You can save it, reload it, do your own checks. If you want to develop your own more advanced application, then you need to use our full API scale, and this is one example. This is a BCF manager add-in application. You develop your own small interface and so on. So now, but I'm going to explain to later all these functionalities of our API. So, but here, as I mentioned, this is, let's say, clash detection. Okay, I'd like to see a clashes. Standard like in Navisworks, in Solibri, you know, you can define clashes. Clashes are there, okay, clash view mode. You can identify clashes, difference, you can clearance, tolerance, so number of things could be done. And then what is again good via BCF, just send them to, let's say, the BIM authoring tool. In this case, I think Autodesk Revit was used. You can send to designer this information, and then he could correct it. You can define the deadline, who is responsible, and so on. So these are about clashes. So not, let's say, not rocket science, but a good thing to have. Okay, next thing is about cost editor. So these are cost databases. In this case, I have just two databases. I'm going to expand those databases. As I mentioned to you, this is directly from Excel, could be exported, imported. But now I have here, let's say, the cast in place concrete forms. I have resources, if they are defined. In this case, I just have carpenters and common building laborers. I have their costs, gross or net costs. I have productivity rates. And what is very good, I have formulas, and I have a way how the elements are to be identified in the model. So now, and it is drill down criteria. So if I select here pile caps and say, can you show me where are the elements which could be attached to those cost items? I just selected all or unassigned or assigned elements. Okay, I chose all. Isolate, here they are. So I see where are the elements which will be applied. And I can, or in the opposite way, I can select the element here, and now you see there is a full list of all elements, but I can say, can you filter me only applicable ones to this? And he will show me only the elements, the cost items, which make sense to be attached to that element. So when you do that only once, you have similar projects, our experience is that 90% of the cost items is the same. I remember from Stanford, it was the NCC company guy who was presenting the number of cost items he has, or recipes at that time. On the 97% of all their projects, they are using 1,700 assemblies, not more than that. So, and this is, again, another story about standardization, vertical integration. You know, just mentioned one word. Where are we now in construction? We are where was car industry before Henry Ford. So that's where we are. We are still waiting for the T model to be produced and used. We are still having everything unique, everything not standardized. For me, every new detail is risk until it's proven and so on. So we don't have prefabrication a lot. When I'm talking about prefabrication, it's not necessarily related to the same buildings, that everything is the same. We now have a printers, 3D, which we can fully customize it, but the process has to be standardized. And we don't have that vertical integration. And that's why we need so much time to produce design. Buildings have a lot of flaws, leakage, and so on, because we don't standardize the process. Before Henry Ford, do you have any idea what was the average warranty for the new car? Guess? I give you some numbers. 500 kilometers. 1,000 was, oh, this is really professional. Why? Because you chosen that this is the first time that tire and that wheel is put on that type of the car. So no previous experience, no testing, no standardization. So could you imagine now a situation that you spend 1 year talking with your car manufacturing company and he's asking you which kind of wheel would you like, 3 pikes to do this and that. Although it looks nice, it took so much time. And about standardization is that with prefabrication, preset databases and so on in your company, integrated with your design processes, you can really save a lot of time. Not just that, now in Bexel Manager, here are documents, Mileta will talk about this. You can, when I attach the certain element, pump, he can automatically attach warranty for that type of the element or user manual. In traditional way, it took so much time, and it was also very, let's say, a lot of mistakes were made. But okay, now when I have this relationship between the elements and the cost items, which is again fully customizable, I can change it easily, could be tailored to one BIM authoring tool, like in this case, when I'm choosing family and so on. But in this case, I'm going to show you, I mentioned that I have example with 16 countries. So I have here cost databases. I'm going to choose, let's say, Spanish one. Okay. Here is a Spanish classification system. So you see everything. I don't understand Spanish, but believe me or not, they are using that database as one of their standard databases. But I will show you another approach when process is integrated with the cost data. So in this project, this is a Slovenia national standard for infrastructure projects. And it's, to be honest, very good. What we put here in a BIM execution plan, that is relationship between software and the process. We defined that every element must have at least one property which is called normative. It's in Slovenia like assembly code. And it could have one or the group of the elements. So then the system automatically, when the designers in that project, that's infrastructure project, they used 7 BIM authoring tools. Completely different softwares, but everybody add new property, which is called normative, and add code. And then the system automatically did the match. So with certain, what we, for example, I think we have add-in, for example, for Revit, where you can choose from the list type of the codes which are automatically matched with Bexel Manager cost database. So this is the way how you can customize your classification. So you see classifications customized, cost items classified. So now when I have this, in this demo, I can say, okay, can I now do a new version? Let's say I update the model. In Bexel Manager, when you update the model, it automatically can just save the new version, you have immediately 3 selection sets. One, elements which are added. Second one, elements which are updated. And the third could be, I think there are even 4. So the elements updated in terms of geometry or just properties only. And could be a 4th one, deleted elements. So when you are updating the model, you can even keep old one, for example, to compare different cost versions or number of clashes in the previous and the new version. But let's say now I update the model and want to see a new cost version. The process, of course, later could be fine-tuned, but I choose the option how to assign cost items to new cost version. Okay, he is now just matching the elements with the cost items, and here it is. Entire cost structure, as you can see in 319, which reminds me to speed up a bit. New cost version. I can open an old one, let's say original one, 6 million, now it's 7. But I can open it in a master format. You see, the number was the same, but classification was different. So let's use case. I have the banks. They have their strict classifications, and I'm personally, as general contractor, using my own. Or in some cases, let's say in the future, we standardize databases and we'll use more or less one cost database. And what is the advantage now? I have, let's say, full interaction. So when I see the elements here, in that new, let's say, cost version I created, let's say, I'm not going to show foundations again, but let's choose cast in place columns, select elements. I see that they are 90,000 euros, but I want to see where they are. Here they are. So I immediately can check if it's okay or not. Or opposite way, tendering packages. Now, I'd like to see a tendering packages, selection sets here, uniformat. Let's talk about services here. It is just a demo, just to explain that this is not the real building. You just got that version when you install trial version of Bexel Manager. So when I select services and choose here filter by element selected, I have the cost of only utilities. Or I would like to see interiors. Here is the cost of interior. So these are my tendering, let's say my tendering packages. Or for these demo purposes, we created, I think here, also three parts of the building, which does not make sense, but this was okay. This is a central part of the building. And for any reason, for example, I would like to see the cost of that central part, here it is. So the idea is flexibility, latency. So when you now just slightly change the question, you immediately have the answer. In traditional way, when you need so much time, you simply don't want to change anything or to ask anything additionally because it will slow down the process. And then mistakes could also stay because it's simply you didn't spend so much time to check things. Okay, so now this is about cost and now about scheduling. Just to explain the system, how does it work? So here you have, as I explained to you, methodologies in which I just give you an idea. Explain that first foundations has to be done, then cast in place, beam, steel. Of course, this is something you can customize fully. It's up to you. And then here, even you can go down and define the second level of methodology. So it's up to you to define them. And then in this case, you define, let's say, this is a simplified way. It could be better, but let's say I'm going to try here to use demo. I'm using a cost version I just created 3 minutes ago. And as you can see now in this schedule, you will see I just have one dummy task. So I can choose here now the option to create using wizard. Of course, this is ideal world, but you will see you will have a lot of things already done. Choose one methodology which have 4 levels main types of work, construction sequence, building levels, and main methodology for office building. And say, okay. And now you see entire, okay, just to open it, just to fit it. Of course, you can later export. This is entire, with even red is critical path. All tasks generated from the updated, and then I can go to see it in animation. Okay, update the animation, schedule viewer, and I can see, okay, this is demo building. Please understand that this is not ideal, but you can see, okay, I can see the costs and everything, and then I can change even a camera to play around and export this as an AVI video. And what is important, comparing to other some systems, every element in Bexel has its own costs, all materials, own dates when it's supposed to be done. So it's not fake 4D, 5D simulation. It is full data-rich 5D simulation. So this is about construction simulation process. Just wanted to explain to you scheduling part is here. Okay, so now in this case, although I'd like to do everything in a demo, we already have in our demo version of software planned versus actual. So I'm going to choose here planned and here actual. So I can compare schedules. You see now I'm having two schedules. This is what was planned and what is reality. So how reality works, I'm just going to show you in an integrated environment. So what's done per month base? Let's say now this could be done in Bexel Manager, but in Trimble Connect, in Autodesk 360, in any other software, in BIMX, in ArchiCAD, could select the elements. And so here are progress selection sets. Could be on daily basis, weekly basis, for tunnels even have on a twice a day because we have 2 shifts. Could be monthly basis as well. So here are the works done first month, second month, third month. You know, I can just, that's the process. So visually, someone who is supervisor can see, okay, is this really done or not? Just check the quality. We don't have a system so far for automatic checking the quality. That has to be done by supervisor. But let's say visually could check this. And now, again, usability of assigned items integrated approach, filter by element selection. Here is my monthly situation. Looks nice. Here is the next month. Everything is transparent, and what we realized, it's a win-win approach. I know that some general contractors were originally against it because, okay, now the client will control me easier. But at the end, it's a win-win. You know, believe me or not, if you are, there are some contractors here, always is power with someone who has money. So you will never win against the client. So play fair, it's better for you. That's the experience and that's reality. So a lot of general contractors now like us. But how does it work here in a schedule editor? Here is a progress. Okay, and it is planned. Sorry, just go to actual versus planned. And here is a progress. So this is on a monthly basis, could be on a weekly basis, could be per general contractor. So it's a last planner method. So fully customized, last plan date method. It is, so I can see what are actually, based on that selection set, I have, can you see number of activities here I have? And this is automatically generated. To do that manually would be impossible. Simply impossible. But this is generated from, and not just that, what we have is resources. So I have here for on a daily, weekly, as an again basis, this is again just a demo, I have real numbers. So I have carpenters, based on my productivities, it was 2,047 working hours. And reality was 2,200. And I can also change the cost. So for example, I assume the diesel cost will be €1, could be 1.1. So I always have, this is what is very important, earned value analysis. So in this case, you see here how earned value analysis looks like. Here is a task report, cash flow planned versus actual or cumulative. So I see that at the end, it's going to cost me 300 euros more, and it's going to last 1 month more. So I always know where I'm in the project. And what can I do? Also export this to Power BI, and I'm going to show you, I think for this demo. Okay, try to find maybe this one. This is, I'm now connecting to the Power BI demo, so you can access to it as well. So now we export this to Power BI, and I have here some numbers. So I have Model Explorer, which is a cost per different versions. So of course I cannot manipulate with the model here, but I can isolate facade and see that the cost of facade is that one. Or I can enter just the third level and see that the cost of the third building level is that one. I see the cost structure, I can change the classification, see the items. I have also the ability to see the number of the clashes. I can change even the clearance here, choose the clash type. The only thing we don't have is visualization. So, but I can manipulate with that data as well, and data is there, it could be accessed via any application. I have also, let's say, cost versions here, auto-assigned, master format, uni-format, structure of those costs, can have a number of workers, everything accessible online, let's say, for management. I have also earned value analysis, planned versus actual. So I see planned versus actual costs, cash flows, number of workers actual on site I had so far, so everything, and even a schedule. So I see on a macro level Gantt chart. So this is, and what I have to say, this is fully customizable, developed as an add-in application. So you can now, you don't like those colors, those reports, you would like to use another reports, you can do that by yourself. So you can fully customize it. Okay, so now let's go back to the real presentation and to finish it. Okay. Okay, so this is our API. So like every API, how does it work? You can, as a user, develop your add-in application, or developer could do that, and then end user could access to it. So there are a number of data to which you can access: properties, elements, systems, selection sets, materials, relations, categories. So for example, relations, you can identify all windows, write the checklist, windows which are not hosted by the wall. Can do it and send the report with mistakes to the designer. Clash detection, so you can combine clash detections and schedule. As I explained, I'd like to see the clashes which are, let's say, happen in the next 2 months. Because I want to focus on them. Mileta will tell you on that project in Kuwait, we'll had more than 100,000 clashes. If you don't organize them by priority, okay, it's nice to have that information, but you don't have a clue how to start solving them. But what in Bexel, with combination of cost and schedule and clash, I can identify all, let's say, just give one example, the data for concrete elements is missing. Let's say quality of concrete elements. And I have information, thousands of elements are missing, not have all properties. I can send this to the general contractor or to designer, it depends on the type of the contract, and wait for another month to update the model. As you know, in construction, nothing is going to be 100% finished. And you as a good project manager have to identify the right moment when it's good enough to proceed further. If, let's say, all those elements are small concrete elements which cost all of them less than, I don't know, 30 euros, can you just say, okay, I know those are mistakes, but okay, let's do it in the next version. Don't be bothered with this. So you can relate the mark of error or mistakes with the cost or with schedule or with contract or whatever. So you can access to cost assignments, maintenance plans, you can access to the progress control. We are working on several pilot projects with sensor data, so we are leading for BIM Horizon project assets for rail. for railway projects, and also we are in CEDAR, that's European Association of Highway Companies. We are coordinators for BIM data as well. So sensor data, when those projects are finished, will be also integrated or could be accessed in our system. Two methodologies, resource management, and so on. So basically, how does it work? We implement all ISO standards and try to follow them as much as we can. You can access to all those applications via our API. And these are country-specific content standards which could be also modified via our API. There are two types of, as I mentioned, applications, very well-developed ones with real software development, and it needs better knowledge to do that in a, let's say, free version of Visual Studio and so on, and you can develop your own applications, sell it by yourself or distribute together with us and so on. Another is a short version of this. This is Console API, where you can just write your own code and customize checks, and you can create new selection sets, or with those console application, you send back the properties to Revit, let's say. You can do it here, no problem at all. So these are, I already mentioned, some examples of API, code checking, let's say material checks and so on, but could be example ones, export data to SAP and so on. And these are simple console script, these are add-ins for checklists. This is one example. Sorry, I forgot, but I wanted, just let me show you one example. Here is one German company developed this one model checker. They have, as you can see, checklists, and now it was developed in a day and a half. So all those checklists, we check integrity, and this is our vision. So they have to develop this, they can customize it, they can add new, and then I can say result of those checks, and say, okay, this is the check I performed right now. I can see for that check the elements which failed. Here they are. I don't know what was that check. It's in German. I'm not very well in German language. But okay, let's now just want to finish this. These are also some good examples. This is API which connects us to Power BI. But this is one example I mentioned, for example, where you can integrate BIMX, Graphisoft product, with Bexel Manager, again with our API. Or, as I mentioned, Trimble Connect or Autodesk 360 use for progress tracking. I want to say that also we introduced, since we are, let's say, having a strong presence with the collaboration with universities, also of arts program. We have international jury of really good experts and professors from prestigious universities in our jury, and submissions for the best add-ins or content management applications from students, could be assistant professors as well, are until May 1st, and I hope that the announcement of the winners will be in June. We have also our partner developer program, where we support our partners to develop add-in applications. And at the end, okay, this is another API integration, another our product, it's infrastructure, but this is just for tunnels. And fortunately, since we have our own product, we can easily, via our API, integrate our two softwares. But again, we insist on building smart standards. And this is, I don't have so much time for this. This is for tunnels. We have, I think, around $2 billion at the moment, euros value of the tunnels we developed with this software. And at the end, one example I'd like to show, I hope it's going to be interesting for you, is the example why APIs, open APIs are important. You maybe have heard about the company Kojima, maybe today one of the most advanced companies in the world. And I'll show you their video. And Ken Endo is the president, sorry, not the president, the head of their IT and BIM department. And we know each other for a long time. We are both heavily involved in construction room in Building Smart. And we organize a number of meetings, technical, how to collaborate. They're Japanese, we are from Europe, we don't understand their drawings, they don't understand our drawings, processes. It was extremely difficult to communicate. We tried for 3 years to do something together, not succeed. Then with our open API, fortunately, they are joint partners in Korea who work with us and with them. And now they are using our API and develop some customized software for them, integration, logistics process, and Bexel Manager. So with APIs, that's why we invite other applications as well. This is the easiest way to integrate. Otherwise, although you have brilliant software developers and they have them as well, you will not succeed because it will take so much time. With open API situation is really easier. I like to show you Kojima's presentation, Ken Endo's presentation now about integration and future of construction. I think it is really something very innovative. You will see a lot of robots, scanners, and I hope that you like it. Can you maybe now lower the
garsiau.
With our information built up over the years, we can plan smarter projects. The latest technology and robots will allow us to create smarter job sites. All made possible with our collective data and linked within BIM. Half of the work with robots, half of project management done remotely, and digitalization of all processes. From design to construction and to facilitate maintenance, a new process becomes a reality with our method of utilizing the latest technology and digital information. Half of the work with robots. Humans will perform work that requires complex decisions and coordination. Robots can perform supportive tasks and repetitive work. Project efficiency will increase by having humans and robots work in tandem, each performing the tasks that fit their specialty. Distribution of material by robots. Based on a construction schedule, materials can be distributed to the area where they are needed during early mornings, evenings, and even weekends. Robots will also perform wall layout and other repetitive tasks. Precise installation of exterior walls and window systems can be achieved with robots. The critical final adjustments will be left to the human touch. Welding work of steel frames that requires a lot of man-hours can be performed with robots. People will monitor the process and inspect the completed work. We are developing robots to transport materials, weld, and spray fireproofing coatings. Information from the site is linked to BIM and other information database and can be used to monitor progress and quality control documentation. Half of project management done remotely. Human interaction and communication combined with information from the job site, as well as the added capability for remote processing, will lead to smarter job site management. Scanner technology can be used to perform rebar inspections rapidly. Erection of steel frames can be reviewed and verified in advance by using scanners in the field. Adjustments to the steel framing can also be automatically performed. Scanners in the field can be used to monitor installation quality and progress to prevent human error. The collected information is distributed in real time. A range of job site information, including materials, vehicles, and worker status, as well as site progress, can be viewed remotely. Job site workers can share site condition information, review critical areas, and receive instructions from off-site managers. Based on real-time information from the job site, adjustments to fabrication and delivery schedule can be managed. Sharing the site status and plans with suppliers and subcontractors will improve coordination, thus reducing unnecessary work in the field. With the information from the job site and the addition of remote management resources, a higher level of schedule and quality control can be achieved, resulting in smarter project management. Digitalization of all processes. From design to construction and to facility maintenance, we will use BIM to create a plan that incorporates information from our digital database of construction knowledge combined with our vast experience. BIM, schedule, logistic plan, and cost estimate information are all linked and shared. With this collective information, the most efficient plans can be developed and quantity takeoffs will become automated. Information from BIM and field scans will be used to make adjustments to robot operation and inspections. The information collected on each project will be analyzed to improve future construction plans and quality control methods. Sensors will gather information on the facility's operation, and this data will be analyzed to provide a more accurate read on the facility and equipment conditions. The information will be reviewed to provide feedback for design improvements. The process for design and construction will continue to be developed and evolve as more data is collected and analyzed. Half of the work with robots, half of project management done remotely, and digitalization of all processes. At Kajima, our vision for the smart future merges construction processes and digital technology.
Thank you.